Do you feel responsible for solving everybody else's problems and managing everybody else's emotions, even though they haven't asked you? If this sounds like you, then this video is for you. Because if you are the helper, if you are the one who steps in when others are struggling, you're probably not doing it out of obligation. Yes, I know you probably care and you are compassionate and you want to do it because you have a heart of love, but you're also doing it because it's so automatic. Because somewhere along the line, you have been taught that being helpful, that being seen and perceived as someone who is competent, who's always willing to help and jump in to rescue, means being worthy. And so in today's video, I am going to show you the emotional pattern that you are exhibiting, that you are playing out in your life, that's behind your instinct to overgive and overcare and overfunction, and why you feel anxious, guilty, or even unsafe when you don't do this. So if you watched my previous video, you would know my client's story. She's a CFO, but she is also a wife, she's a mother, and she's the one who her colleagues and her team confide in. And every time they came to her with a problem in her office, whether it was personal or career or work related, she would always be thinking of a solution to help them without pausing to think, is this my responsibility? Is this my problem to fix? Or do they just want to be heard? And what she didn't realize was she was quietly becoming exhausted and frustrated, not only with them but with herself, because the more she jumped in to help and fix other people and take on more work, the more her own workload was piling up. And she realized through our one-on-one coaching sessions that this wasn't just a habit. It was a protection pattern that she had learned a very long time ago to keep her safe, where she learned that fixing other people's problems and jumping in to help them, even when it was at the cost of her own time, of her own energy, of her own money, that was the safe thing to do. And so if you have been stuck in cycles of over-functioning at work, picking up the emotional load at home, absorbing your partner or your family's problems and anxieties, closing the gaps where there are gaps, correcting other people's mistakes, feeling frustrated when nobody supports you in the same way, taking on extra work instead of saying no because it's easier and you want to avoid discomfort and conflict, then here's what may be driving it. You've learned these protection patterns, these behaviors that are actually not serving you. And these patterns are that you've learned that being helpful means being worthy, even if it comes at the cost of your own peace, your own well-being, your own health. You feel other people's discomfort in your own body. And so you rush to ease that discomfort by giving more. You've internalized the belief that it is your job and your responsibility to manage everybody else's problems and emotions. You're worried, you fear being seen as selfish or lazy or unreliable. You fear being perceived in a negative light, and so you continue to engage in these patterns that are not serving you. And you don't feel safe letting go or not earning your place. And if this sounds like you and you're just like my client, you learned these patterns at times in your life, at moments in your life that informed these behaviors. For example, where you felt unseen or unimportant, maybe to your parents or to other family members as a child, unless you were doing something useful. You had to be the calm one when everybody around you fell apart. You learned to keep the peace because confrontation didn't feel safe. Conflict feels dangerous for you. You were praised for being responsible, for being the responsible one, or for being mature at your age. And now you feel guilt and you feel shame and you feel fear when it's time to do something for yourself. But here's what you need to know, that overcaring and fixing and trying to do everything for everyone, when it comes at the cost of your well-being, of your time, of your self-esteem and your sense of self, is not noble. It's actually a survival pattern. And so this is why you feel taken advantage of in your relationships, because you are a person of love and you're a person who gives. You're a person who is helpful and generous and fair. But ask yourself this: are you generous and helpful and fair with yourself first? Because the relationship that you have with yourself and how you treat yourself is a reflection of how other people treat you. And that's what true self-esteem is: your relationship with yourself. And when you operate from a place of low self-esteem and low self-worth, where your relationship with yourself doesn't exist or is not strong or is shaky, then you end up feeling drained by relationships that don't reciprocate your care and support. You end up feeling resentful and frustrated and annoyed that you're the one always holding everything together, that you're the one that everyone can count on, but you can't rely on anyone to support you. I want you to know that this doesn't mean that you're weak. This pattern is very common in ambitious and driven, caring, empathic men and women. It's because you've been taught that your value and your worth comes from what you do, not from who you are. And so now you don't feel like you can stop without letting somebody down. Letting go of this pattern doesn't mean that you stop caring. It means that you start caring for yourself too. And the more you are able to care for yourself, the more you're actually able to genuinely care for others. And so the client that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, through working with me one-on-one in our sessions, something critical changed for her. She started slowing down when others opened up about their problems to her. And instead of immediately rushing in to help, she started just witnessing. And as she started just witnessing and gave herself permission to not jump in to help, she felt less resentful, she had more energy, and she started noticing where she needed care as well. So if you're the type of person who is always trying to make the lives of other people easier and more convenient, if you feel guilty for saying no or setting a boundary, if you expect yourself to manage things that other people don't even notice, if you overfunction in your relationships and overgive and overcare and secretly wish that someone would do the same for you, then you need to know that it's not that you're weak, it's not that something's wrong with you. You're simply living on an outdated belief system and an outdated level of self-esteem that's no longer working for you and serving you. And if this resonates, I've created a 5-minute quiz for you to take that's going to help you uncover the emotional pattern that's personally keeping you stuck. You're going to understand why growth has felt so hard for you, even though you've been trying your best. And you're going to get clear first steps to start shifting the pattern without losing your kindness, without disrespecting others, and without losing your power. I'd love to hear what you found valuable in this video. The link for the quiz will be in the description box below. Please do leave your comments about what you are taking away, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.